Hey, did you know that you're not supposed to have the talk with your kids? I know that sounds crazy because we're used to hearing you need to have the talk before someone else does.
And while it's important that you do educate and equip your kids around sexuality, we're going to share with you 3 secrets today that are going to revolutionize the way that you think about sex and sexuality in your home.
We're Adam and Karissa King, and we're counselors, and we understand the pressure that Christian parents feel when it comes to educating their kids on sexuality.
That's why we partnered with Korena Hendryx. She's a biology teacher and sex education expert, and she helped us develop Having the talkS, because one just isn't enough.
So what is Having the talkS? It's a guided conversation game on sexuality for your kids and you. But it's not just about sex. It's identity development and emotional development, and it forges a stronger bond between you and your kids.
And I know what you're probably thinking. I don't need to have more than the talk with my kids. But we're going to show you how you can not only answer the curious questions from your kids, but help them develop a solid Christian understanding of themselves in this highly sexualized culture.
So here's the first secret. You need to start young. Your kids are curious from a young age, and you want them coming to you about their curiosity.
And this is important because we need to create a culture of open communication when they're young. Because if you don't, they're not going to come to you when they're teens.
All right, so the second secret is this. Our taboos are the world's tabloids, to put it as one of our beta testers said. And the main thing to understand here is that our kids are going to seek answers to their sexual questions somewhere. And shouldn't you be the one to tell them about God's incredible gift?
Yeah, because you're the parent and you know them better than anybody else. Better than their teacher, their friend, and Google for that matter.
Right.
The main thing to understand here is that we live in a culture where beauty is portrayed in one way, and our kids inherit these false beliefs.
Yeah, and this is key because if we don't help them and equip them with an understanding of who they are in God's image now, then this cultural lie is going to follow them throughout dating, marriage, and then even building their own family.
Now I know what you're thinking. My kids are way too young to start talking about this stuff. Well, the tricky thing is that you need to start having these conversations as soon as they can say head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Right, but this doesn't mean that you share every single detail with your toddlers.
Right.
What we're doing is we're setting ourselves up to be an Askable parent.
Right, so that fast forward a few years, when they do have the detailed questions, you've already curated an atmosphere that they trust you, you're Askable, you're not judging them, and you're the person they want to come to.
Mm-hmm. And so we've created this game where you can have age-appropriate conversations, feel equipped, and feel less awkward about having the talks.
You guys, there's nothing like this out there. It's a card deck, well, actually 2 decks in one, with over 100 conversation starters for toddlers, teens, and in between.
And what this is going to do is reduce the shame for you and your kids around sexuality. Because let's face it, most of us didn't have a good upbringing around this topic.
Yeah, in fact, 91% of you either grew up with silence around sexuality altogether, or you were told that sex is just bad and that's it, or maybe you had the talk, but then it all stopped there. And then maybe your friends and Google picked it up from there.
And we, as a marriage counselor
and therapist
and teacher, have helped numerous Christian families navigate this conversation from a place of insecurity to a place of confidence.
So what we do is we help guide you with the questions you need to have these conversations with your kids. And we turn it into a game
that they actually want to keep playing.
Right.
So we have anything from identity and anatomy to God's design for marriage, the celebration of sex, even hygiene and health, puberty, physical development. There's a nifty little table of contents here, and the list goes on.
Right, and there's actually over 100 cards, and they're actually double-sided. So there is on one side of the card, there's a little caterpillar, and then on the other side of the card, there's a different question with a butterfly.
Yeah, so the caterpillar side is geared toward a younger age group. For example, you might have a question like, how is your body different from when you were a baby? And the butterfly side is geared toward an older age group. So we might say, how has your body changed in the last year?
And another example, how did God make you special on the caterpillar side? But on the older child side, the butterfly side, what do you think it means to be made in the image of God? So as you can see, it's about so much more than just sex. We're helping them form their identity in Christ. So we lay the foundation to have all these important talks.
Right. So when we're talking with teens about dating, about their identity, about body image, so much of this groundwork has already been laid.
Yeah, and you get to decide where to start with your kids, on the caterpillar or on the butterfly side, because you know your kids best.
So click the link to grab a deck or a few to revolutionize the way that you approach sex and sexuality in your home.
Do it now.
We're always here to help, and we can't tell you the amazing results we've gotten so far.
We also have a parent guide and a sex ed curriculum coming out very soon, but you could start right now with a deck.
We can't wait to hear how this goes in your living room. So if you're not already on the website, go to www.havingthetalks.com.
Because one just isn't enough.